Welcome back everyone to Europa Universalis 4 with the Great Culture Wars, and as you can see we have a peace, and England has been very historical. They did exactly take the provinces that I wanted them to take, really. They took Gwynedd, which is the northern part of Wales, and then they took these four provinces that are, you know, historically English. So they have the true border between England and Scotland. Yeah, that is not all they took. They also took a few lands down here in the Cape. I think these three: Cape Guru, Swellendam, and Griqualand or whatever. So yeah, half of the Cape is now English as well. They did not actually take Cape Town, which is the important natural harbor, but it doesn't really matter all that much. For the most part, you know, it's just interesting that they took these lands. So that's the first war that kind of went down. We also obviously had the Turks, who succeeded in their war against Croatia. They took 6 provinces from the Croatians, these 4, and then these 2 on the coast as well. And of course they took Philippi from the Bulgarians, as I had hoped. So that was nice. Other than that, we have Denmark not taken advantage of their vassals. They annexed Sweden, whereas the Highlanders, their personal union body, annexed the Norwegians. However, they're currently in a war against Normandy. We'll get back to that. But in this war are also the Finnish. So we might see them take over some more lands in Scandinavia. Other than that, and that is the last thing that I would like to mention, which really surprised me, was that the Serbian pretenders succeeded. So Serbia is now once again independent. And, well, they're allied to the Ruthenians right now, so they have one friend on their side. And, you know, here's the thing. They cried out for protection from the Muscovites, and they got basically 41 development out of it, and now they're independent again. Now, there's no way that the Serbians are going to win this in the end. I mean, they're just way too small. But I think it's still kind of cool how they managed to maneuver around. I mean, they started off with, like, what not necessarily started off with, but I think at some point they had like 1 province, this one, or maybe 2. And, you know, over the last several years, they steadily grew. They got 1 province, mostly in peace sales from others. Provinces were given to them. But, you know, this was really cool. The Serbs are now, you know, they're still around, whereas the Hungarians are gone, the Austrians are gone. They're even stronger than the Croatians now, if you just compare the troop sizes. So this is pretty cool. I'm amazed at how well the Serbians are, you know, surviving. But yeah, that was basically all I wanted to tell you. And now we should have a look at the current wars. Now, we have Malacca being at war, and we have the Irish with support of the Welsh going after them. Not particularly important, really, because, you know, this is not wars between cultures, right? But there's many more things going on. So let's start off with something interesting. We have the Danish-Norman imperialist war. So the Danes, together with their Highlander union, their allies in Prussia and Leonese and all of their subjects, have decided to declare war on the Normans. Now, they bring in their colonial nations as well as the Finnish. So this is really cool. This is the opportunity for the Danes to take over these provinces, for the Prussians to take Danzig, maybe. Yes, I'm still waiting for that. And, of course, we could maybe see, yeah, the Highlanders, they have claims up here, I believe, and the Danish have a few claims here in southern Sweden as well. Now, the main focus, though, is going to be Normandy, so I assume we'll see these 5 provinces change hands and, you know, make or become Danish, of course, essentially. So this is going to happen, quite likely. I'm not sure if they're also going to take lands here. I don't know. We'll see, I suppose. Other than that, we have, or we had, I think this war already ended, the Breton reconquest of Maine. So the Bretons declared another war in Burgundy now that it was broken and had no more allies, and they managed to take 2 provinces with the help of the Leonese. And now we also have the Normans at war with the Leonese, obviously, and the Danish, and also with the Franconians and Romanians and the Piemontese and their colonial nations. So yeah, the Normans are getting pounded, and they will lose their great power status. I mean, they have dropped and dropped and dropped over the course of the last several years, but now it's looking really bad for them, and they will drop out of the great power rank. That is for sure. Other than that, though, we have the English, right after their independence, basically, declaring an imperialist war against the Sami. Now, we should mention that the English obviously have China under control here, and that is where they declared the war on the Sami, or from where they declared the war. But it's not going particularly well for them. They still have their main strength back on the British Isles, and you know, they only have like a splinter force here. Nothing, you know, against the, well, what, nearly 200,000 men of the Sami. And added to that comes the second war that they're involved in, because I don't know if that was just the, you know, regular British arrogance or English arrogance, or if it was just maybe even an act of mercy. But for some reason, the English decided, right after they had their independence, to guarantee the independence of the Scots. And later on, the Scots were attacked, and the English joined in on this war. So we have the not only the English Sami imperialist war against Albania and the Sami, but also we have the Crimean Scottish imperialist war with the Crimeans, Syrians, and Turks fighting the Scots, the Galicians, obviously, and the English. So we'll see how that turns out, but you know what? It's not looking too good. Let's have a quick look here at the diplomacy. So, you know, Syria has obviously huge holding here in southern China, Sami obviously over here, and then there is basically a huge connection all the way from Turkey over Syria to Albania, Crimea, and Sami. It's a land connection. Now, it's unlikely that any of these nations will send forces to mainland or to the British Isles, but all of their colonies are going to get absolutely wrecked, and you know, there's a huge amount of development to be had in India, in Southeast Asia, and in China, and that will give a lot of war score against the English. Especially their offensive war against the Sami is going to go terrible. You know, the other war against the Syrians, you know, where they're defending the Scots, might not go as badly, but still overall it's not great. Yeah, other than that, we have the Silesians using that opportunity to grow stronger and declaring a war that weakened Croatian state. They will probably full annex them, which is fine. And the other thing that just popped up was the Franconian Norman imperialist war. So yeah, they're bringing in their buddies, and they're pounding them as well. Alright, so I think the most important out of this is probably going to be the Danish war, the one that I look forward to the most. I mean, here's the thing. The Franconians declaring this war on the Normans, that just had to happen. I mean, we can't be bothered with this, the same color. That's just terrible. So, you know, this is going to fall. The Franconians will hopefully manage to take over all of these lands. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cores. It's possible. I mean, I suppose Normandy, let me quickly see. That's only 32 development. That's not too much. They haven't really developed their lands, you know, all that much. So I think, yeah, this is certainly possible. This is certainly possible that the Franconians take over these 7 provinces in this one war. Then Normans will be left with Morbihan, which might be given to the Leonese here. It's possible, at least. We'll see. We'll see how that turns out. But yeah, the Danish will obviously take over this, and that will be the end of the Normans, really. I mean, because I don't think they have much else. They have a few colonies here and there, but nothing big. So, you know, that's that. The Finnish will hopefully give up Danzig to the Prussians. I've been waiting for that for so long. And, yeah, I mean, this province and this will definitely go to the Danish. Not sure what's going to happen with this down here. But yeah, we will find out. Perhaps even the Silesians are going to, you know, jump in on that. It's possible. Other than that, they're sort of holding their own here in the north. Not really sure how. There's 100,000 Prussian and Danish men. So why are the Finns why are the Finns not occupied? That's weird. But yeah, okay. Whatever. So we've got plenty of wars going on. I'm not really sure what I should focus on. I don't know. I don't really know what I should focus on. I mean, I suppose we could check out Galicia here. No, they're not really suffering from anything. I mean, I guess we could check out... Wow, Scottish Deccan has already been besieged. So, yeah, no, that's that. And now all of the enemies are just kind of converging in on Galician East Indies, which is not going to hold up for long. Even Bengal's in on this. They've spawned from Syria, by the way, from a Syrian colony. They spawned here and gotten their independence. And perhaps they're even going to grab a few provinces in this peace deal. That's possible. And then, of course, the Sami are just making their way further into English. Now it's English North China. It was English Southern China before, now it's North, apparently. I mean, which is correct, but it's weird that it changed. The Irish have Taiwan under their control. That's sweet. And Malacca and Sunda are fighting their own little insignificance, a war of insignificance, I suppose. But yeah, so we've got plenty of wars, as I said. I think, you know what, I will actually check out the Silesian War of Croatian Heresy, or Purge of Croatian Heresy. So they've got 30,000 men, you've got 100, way more than 100,000 men. So yeah, this war is pretty clear in favor of the Silesians, and, you know, these 5 provinces are going to get full annexed. No doubt about that. Okay, so that probably means that we will see an independent Norman Canada, which then will probably just be Canada, and that could then rival the Catalans, for sure, because they definitely have a whole lot of development up here. So yeah, that's very possible. It's very possible that we see the Norman Canada independent, and perhaps even Norman Columbia, although they're not too powerful, to be quite honest. They're not very powerful. But you know, I would very much like to see a war between the Catalans and the Normans here in North of Africa. North of Africa. We're in North of Africa, guys. No, in North of America here. That would be kind of interesting, because we haven't really had a great war in the Americas yet. It's all been just, you know, shenanigans, really. But yeah, certainly, I think the best thing that happened was simply that the Serbian pretenders succeeded. I would have never expected that. But, you know, well, the Russian Tsaritsa simply wasn't interested. She's still ruling. She's got an heir by now, so at least that's good. They will not fall into personal union themselves. But other than that, you know, it's not looking too good for them. With losing the Serbian... I mean, it's not like the Serbian personal union was crucial to them. But it still is, you know, it's like 200 development that they will lose. You know, just stupid. It's just stupid. But yeah, so we've got plenty of wars going on. Maybe we'll try to go even a little bit faster here. Obviously, I should pause then. Now, let me see. Okay, so you're completely occupied. Alright, well, except for a province here, held by the Franconians. I think it's weird that the Danish didn't manage to take all of this over. But, you know, I suppose it's because they're focused on the Finnish so much. Yeah, and the Prussians are attacking Finnish Latvia here. And their capital has not fallen yet. I think this used to be their capital, Helsingfors, right here. And they have been forced to move by the Muscovites. So, you know, they're already not in the best shape. But now they're certainly losing their grip. It was really, here's the problem. The Finnish were doing well, but just the Muscovites in the south weakening them so much that now they are getting destroyed by the Danish. And here's the thing. We've got about 100 years left, not entirely, but almost, close enough to 100 years. I could see the Finnish being completely devoured. I could even see the Flemish gone, and perhaps even the Highlanders annexed. And then it would be Denmark versus Muscovy. And that would be a really cool fight to see. Perhaps it's going to even be a succession war over Estonia. Who knows? But that would be fun. I definitely think that the Prussians would be on the Danish side in that conflict. And they could obviously add quite a few troops to their side. But still, that would be definitely something I would like to see. Still, the Finnish got 90,000 men here, so and they've also got a nice fleet. They're not entirely without defense. It's just they're not using them. They're not utilizing them for some reason. But yeah, what else have we got? Any progress in any of these wars? I don't really think so. Wow, so the English are probably going to piece out the Sami here very soon, because that's not going too well. And the other imperialist war that we have is, despite all of the occupation, isn't going anywhere. And that's just because Lothian is never going to get annexed, or never going to get besieged. It's just not going to happen. Because you first have to land troops on the islands, then you have to defeat the joint armies of the Scots and the English. So, you know, yeah, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So we're at 60% between Silesia and Croatia. So I think it's basically just a capital fortress holding it up, because this is also fortress Alright, so one little country having, what, three fortresses in Graz, in Gironca, and Istria. So yeah, once these fall, then you are gone for good. But you know what? This still doesn't really help the Silesians, because they have a really weird-shaped country, and they have a huge wall that they must protect against all of their enemies. So, you know, for the most part, they're just going to be done for. This is just them desperately trying to stay relevant, but they're simply not. They've never really been relevant, you know, but still. So, out of all of these, or due to all of these wars, the Leonese managed to take #1 spot once again. For a brief moment, it was the English on #1. Scots are still holding on to 7th place here, and I'm very surprised to not see the Danish here. But I think after their war with the Normans, this is certainly going to happen. I mean, the Franconians have taken a lot more development as well, so we could maybe see them, you know, in here too. I really don't know who's doing better, the Franconians or the Danish. I guess it really depends, hugely depends on the peace deals here. I mean, this could all go to the Franconians if they are patient enough to stay in the war. And you know, the Danish, as I said, they could take all of this plus some lands from the Finns. So I'm really interested to see how these wars turn out. Sorry guys for the interruption here, but it seems as if my recording software didn't quite catch the last, I don't know, like 3 years or so, which is quite sad because we've just seen a whole lot of peace deals. So I guess I will let you guys catch up on what's been happening. Now, the Franconians over here, they were obviously at war with the Normans, and they took over, this is the most recent peace deal, they took over 5 provinces, and just before that, we had the Danish peace out the Normans, and even prior to that, they peaced out the Finns. So the Danish took these 2 provinces, Nerke, Östergötland, Stolp, and Natsland from the Finns. They didn't give anything to their personal unit buddy Highlanders or to their allies. They've just been taking it all for themselves. So these 4 provinces they took from the Finns, and then they took everything from Hamburg all to Hoya, these 4 provinces from the Normans. These 2 they probably would have taken as well, but you know, at the time these 2 provinces were occupied by Franconians. So yeah, eventually the Danes peaced out, and they managed to grab this great power spot, #8, which is really cool. The Scots are still holding on to 7th place. They got out of their war, their huge war against the Crimeans, the Syrians, and the Turks, basically unscathed. I don't think they had to give up anything. The war just ended. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. They probably had to give in money because they were at like -30, but they didn't have to give up any provinces. Nothing in India, nothing here in the East Indies. So you know, it doesn't really matter to them much. Other than that, we also had the I think we've just seen a peace between the English and the Sami. Wow, they took a lot of lands. They took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 provinces. That really didn't go too well for the English here. That was completely backfiring on them. This war was terrible. I think they would have lost even if they had not been involved in this other war, but they would have had more of a chance to get over their troops. I think they still would have lost, just because, you know, the Sami capital, like, I don't even know where it is, but it's probably somewhere, like, very deep in Siberia. So yeah, look at this. It's all the way over here. So it's very difficult for the English to get over there and occupy these lands. And so this whole war was bound to fail, even without the intervention of you know, the Syrians, Crimeans, and Turks. So yeah, I guess we basically saw a peace deal to all of the wars except for the Irish-Malaccan War, but that is not really too important. I mean, it looks like the Irish are actually being beaten back here, but I think they're not going to have to give up any provinces. Other than that, we had Silesia actually threaten war, or threaten the Croatians with war, and so they managed to take 1 province, further splitting up the Croatians, who are just a sorry nation at this point. It's really sad. They were once so powerful, but now they've lost it all. And yeah, I think that was pretty much it. Yeah, so the Normans completely destroyed. They lost their great power. Actually, never mind. I was just gonna say the Normans lost their great power status, because you would think so. But they still have 500 development. Like, oh, hold on. Where do they have? They have 3 provinces, or, okay, well, 4 provinces in Europe. Where is your... Okay, well, that's not true. They have these 2 provinces, and they have these 2 provinces here in Ireland, and that's why they have their capital now. But where is all their development? I mean, a lot of this comes from their subjects, but it also says that they have 500 development themselves. Where is that coming from? I don't quite see. I mean, yeah, they have some territories here. I guess that all just kind of, you know, yeah, I suppose that adds up. But it doesn't really make much sense. They must have some other power base that I'm not seeing. They must have some more lands that I just don't know where they are. This is also... No, this is an Occitan. No, this is a Norman colony. I see. Alright, so I don't know. The Normans are still somehow a great power. So who got kicked out? Maybe the Crimeans, I think. So the Danish replaced them. And they're doing really well for themselves. So, yeah. One thing I noticed, though, is that the game is running really slow. Like, it's excruciatingly slow. And I've decided... And I've noticed this over the, past few episodes. And I've decided that I will not be continuing the series as we're used to in this kind of format. I will instead probably just go forward, record it all, without commentary, and kind of do a time lapse for the last 90 years. And then in the last episode, I will also talk about who wins this series, because it's really going slow. At this point, we're covering like 2 years per episodes, and that would be like another 45 episodes, and that's not possible. So I think I will just do a time lapse, and then we'll check out the rest. And my pick, I think I'll stick with the pick I had for a long time. I think the Leonese, they're just gonna do it. For a moment, obviously, I thought the Scottish were gonna do it, but with the English declaring their independence, I think I'm gonna stick with the Leonese. You can obviously let me know what you think, or who you think is going to win, and yeah, we'll check it out in the last episode. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed, and yeah, I hope I see you guys next time.